I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. The MAGA Republicans in Congress are getting roasted by right-wing media for their pathetic sham impeachment hearings of President Biden. Yes, right-wing media is looking at these MAGA Republicans in the House as just so utterly incompetent in carrying out their corrupt plans that they can't even do it. They're so pathetic. Let me show you, for example, what Steve Bannon and Sebastian Gorka had to say. Play the clip.
And they still owned the Republicans, utterly
I reserve my time on that.
I mean, think about it. What did we witness today, Steve? It was impeachment 48 of President Trump. They turned the whole thing into photographs of Ivanka, photographs of Jared. I mean, and the GOP just like, And the GOP, you know what pisses me off the most, Steve? When they roll out Republicans, and I'm a political junkie like you, and I see somebody who's like, they're third in line, 12 minutes in, and I've never heard of this piker before. I've never heard of this congressman or woman, and they're just like, here's another meat puppet, here's your script, darling, read it, and then the cretin, the stupid Democrat, just owns them, Steve. And then the last thing, Comer stands in the corridor afterwards and says, that was a great day. Bumble, 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 bumble. And then he says, and we just had one question. What did the Bidens get for the tens of millions? And he doesn't answer the question. If you think you answered that question today, perhaps you should tell the American people what the answer to that question was.
Yeah. I need it.
That's why I say you don't need to take my word for it. Even MAGA Republican right-wing extremists like Bannon and Gorka are saying that James Comer, Jim Jordan, and these MAGA Republicans in the House are so incompetent they can't even carry out the corrupt plans. Here's Steve Bannon again. Play the clip.
We have to have a standard of how serious this is. And I haven't been able to follow the entire thing. But one of the professors there, it gives the opening dialogue, and he's got some nice things he's laying out, and he's impeachable. And then Raskin, right on his cross, gets, and I think I heard this correctly. Well, have you seen any impeachable offenses? No. Is this worse than Trump on January 6th? No. That's maybe not a witness I call initially to lay out the case. Maybe my staff should have gone through and ask questions like that in making sure in the traditional preparation of the witnesses. And if that was the professor's thought and that's what he believes, maybe we sit around a conference table and say, hey, when we have on the whiteboard that professor's name, why don't we put him on the maybe category? Maybe we bring him in a couple weeks. Maybe we don't start with him.
Yeah, Darren, Steve Bannon's like, seriously? You didn't even know your own witness was going to say that President Biden should not be impeached? Why would you call that witness if your whole goal is to try to undermine the Democrats? Now, Bannon is corrupt as can be. Bannon's just upset that these people in the House are so incompetent that they can't carry out his corrupt plans. Here's Bannon again with his co-host and executive producer again, trashing the MAGA Republicans in the House of Representatives. Play the clip.
We followed it in its entirety. We're going to play your cold open in the next hour. Give me your thoughts.
Well, Steve, I know you're already live for 4 hours today, but I think today really was rock bottom. We've hit the point where we need to bring back war room impeachment because our House Republicans don't know what they're doing at all. This was Kevin McCarthy's Hail Mary to try to convince us that we can't shut down the government. Frankly, I think this makes the case that we need to because they need to reassess. And Steve, honestly, the best part, in the middle of the hearing, do you know what the House GOP tweets from their official Twitter account? Hunter Biden's laptop is real. That's the tweet. These people are fundamentally unserious.
And now let's take a quick break to talk about our next partner, Fume. Cold turkey, it may be great on sandwiches, but there's a better way to break your bad habits. We're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your wacky neighbor or some sketchy message board. We're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Now, not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? Fume is an innovative, award-nominated device that does just that. Instead of electronics, fume is completely natural. Instead of vapor, fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, fume uses all natural, delicious flavors. You get it. Instead of bad, fume is good. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. Your fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. The first time I used fume, I was shocked at how flavorful and fresh it tasted. Now, it's easy to hold and perfectly balanced and quite honestly, extremely fun to fidget with. The real wood material and sleek design definitely classes it up, and I feel pretty darn cool holding it. Stopping is something we all put off because it's hard, but switching to fume is easy, enjoyable, and even fun. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use code MIDAS to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use code MIDAS to save an additional 10% off your order today.
And here, Fox got in on the action. Here's Neil Cavuto, played the clip.
In my Fox Business show earlier today, I don't know what was achieved over these last 6+ hours. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. I want to put in perspective here, though, and we are going to legally go through all the details, but James Comer, the Oversight Committee chairman, had said that there would be presented a mountain of evidence against Mr. Biden. It was referring to President Biden. But none of the expert witnesses today presented yet any proof for impeachment. Now, to be clear, this was not about impeachment. This is about launching an impeachment inquiry. But it is worth pointing out that none of the witnesses today were fact witnesses. That means that none were involved in the investigation into the alleged activities in the first place. What's more, none of the witnesses testified today of direct knowledge of what Republicans have been claiming about Joe Biden. In other words, that the way this was built up, where there's smoke, there would be fire. Again, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm going to be talking to some darn smart ones in a moment. But where there's smoke today, we just got a lot more smoke. We also say that the best they could say now, after this 6+ hours of testimony back and forth, is that they're going to try to get more bank records from Joe Biden and his son, says that they're needed to determine if a crime was committed. Understood. But none of that was presented today, just that they would need those records to further this investigation today, even though this occurs after months of Republican probes that failed to provide anything resembling concrete evidence. We do not already know, for example, a charge that was made today that Joe Biden took a bribe. That might, in fact, be the case. It might come up in this inquiry when we get more evidence, but that is still an unproven allegation. Furthermore, much talk about this Bruce Trubinsky, this forensic accountant, and a key witness for Republicans. Not enough evidence yet. Those are his words. Not enough evidence yet to conclude corruption by the Bidens. Jonathan Turley himself said today that the House does not have such evidence to support articles of impeachment, but this is an opening for it.
And here, Democratic Congress member Jamie Raskin talks about just the complete meltdown of MAGA Republicans and how the MAGA Republicans in the House fled. They were too embarrassed, a lot of them, to even be around Jim Jordan and James Comer during these sham impeachment hearings. Watch Democratic Congress member Jamie Raskin play the clip.
They can't even really name what the purported high crime and misdemeanor is. They don't even have a low crime and misdemeanor. They have no crime at all. And today, for their very first impeachment hearing, they had no fact witnesses. They had no eyewitnesses. They put on several experts who agreed with us that there's not remotely sufficient evidence to justify an impeachment. And so we saw a meltdown on the Republican side of the aisle where the Republican members were fleeing the committee room in droves, embarrassed and humiliated by what was going on. But of course, the Democrats were there because we would like to put an end to this nonsense right now and get back to the work of America. The government is about to shut down in 2 days because of the chaos of this clown show. I'm quoting Republicans here on Republicans, because they can't develop any focus on what they want to do. And so you've got a small extremist MAGA faction, maybe 15 or 20 or 25 members, which is essentially driving the train. And Kevin McCarthy has continually catered to them and appeased them. And we're all paying the bitter price of that right now. They're about to shut down the government of the United States, although the Senate Republicans, the Senate Democrats, the House Democrats, and the President of the United States are all united. We need a clean, continuing resolution to get through this, along with disaster aid and aid to the people of Ukraine fighting Russian imperialist violence against their society. But it is the pro-Trump, pro-Putin MAGA wing of the Republicans which is having their way over Kevin McCarthy. And so far, he's not been willing to stand up to them, and the government of the United States might shut down. This is something that no enemy government has ever been able to do to us in America, and MAGA is about to do it to us right now.
Yeah, and there you have it, folks. MAGA Republicans in disarray, in utter chaos. Embarrassing stuff. Hey, hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch and have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.